Real people, real opinions.
Real Talk Radio. The multi-award winning Niall Boylan Show.
Ireland's classic hits.
Why are there no school trips to slaughterhouses? It's not me asking that question, by the way. It's a question that a vegan website, goveganworld.com, has sparked off a huge debate after they posted an article asking this simple question. Why are there no school tours to slaughterhouses? Here's what they say in the article. I'm going to read it out to you and I'm going to find out what you think about it. And this is something that has actually happened in my house in our recent years as regards telling children the truth about where meat comes from. Here's what Go Vegan World says. Why are there no school tours to slaughterhouses? Few parents want their children to know the origins of non-vegan food. Oh, vegans. How many children know that cheese in their sandwich was made from milk produced by a mother cow whose baby was taken from her? That their scrambled egg was laid by a chicken who will be slaughtered years before the natural end of her lifespan? Whose brother, it says this, brother was gassed or minced alive the day he was born? How many parents sit down to dinner and announce that their children's meals contain the dead bodies of someone just like Peppa Pig? Jesus, talk about buzzkill. That's one thing that would kill the buzz of a dinner table. How are you, kids? You're sitting down to have your dinner. By the way, the sausage is on your plate. It's minced Peppa Pig. Like, why would a parent actually do that? That absolutely makes no sense. Anyway, it goes on to say that factual education on animal slaughter is the right for every child. So they believe that every child has a right to know about the truth behind animal slaughter. And that's why they're suggesting that school trips to slaughterhouses begin. And I want to get your thoughts on this. 087 188 0008. Send us a WhatsApp now. 087 188 0008. And I want to ask a couple of questions, I suppose. The first question is, have you been honest with your kids about where the meat on their plate comes from? If so, what have you told them? And this came up in our house. It was actually last year. We were doing a bit of a staycation and we went to a farm. And my son, who was 6 at the time, he was feeding the chickens and all that. And he's quite inquisitive. And he turned around at one stage and he said, "These chickens, Daddy, that are jumping up in my lap and all that, are they like the chickens that are in nuggets or the chickens that my mammy makes for dinner?" And I didn't know how to answer the question because it caught me unawares. And, I had to discuss it with my wife first. What do we do? Do I tell him that? Because like most kids, they eat very little. They eat shag all. And the food they do eat, you want to keep them eating it. And I said it to my wife and she was like, "No, we can't tell him that. No, he'll just stop eating it. There's no need to know at this stage of his life where the chicken on his Sunday roast actually came from." Because he wasn't linking the two. He wasn't linking the chicken in his roast dinner to the chicken that he was playing with in the farm. And I think that's sweet. I think that's the way it should be kept. I don't think we should be honest with children about this. Yet, this website, Go Vegan World, are saying that animal slaughter or factual information on animal slaughter is the right of every child. I'd love to hear from you on this. What way do you stand on this? 087 188 0008. 087 188 0008. Did I do the right thing? Basically brushing it aside. That's what we did. We just completely changed the subject and he's never mentioned it since. And if he does, I don't know what I'll say the next time. I want to start off with this voice note from a self-confessed vegan, Catherine. She's been on this show many, many times. And, well, let's see what she has to say about kids knowing where their meat comes from.
Hi, Jeremy. I can't
Catherine.
come on this evening, but I'd like to just leave a voice note. Absolutely all children over the age of, I'd say, 8, 10, 11 should be shown all the videos of factory farming, abattoirs. They should be brought on a tour of the abattoir. They should also be taught that every illness, 99% of illnesses, come from corpse and munching and drinking calves' milk, which is made for baby calves. How people give their children calves' milk astonishes me. And we're wondering why our HSE is clogged. People can't get seen to correctly. Hospitals are full of corpse munchers and dairy milk consumers, which is not for them. They're not baby calves. Every pandemic came from animal consumption, and if we want to save the world starvation levels would be fixed by what cows and farm animals being force-fed. The life of a pig in a gestation tank. She's kept in a cage her entire life. She cannot stand, urinate, and her feet have never touched the ground. The poor pig has gone insane. That's why a lot of the animals actually have cancer. And the butchers cut the cancers out of the animals and chop the rest into your food. And people are wondering why they are all sick and the HSE is clogged and full of corpse
Okay,
munchers.
that's not fair to say, Catherine.
Absolutely, children should be told the truth. They should be taught how to grow vegetables, plant seeds, grow fruit, everybody should plant, seeds out their back, even in pots. If you live in an apartment, have a window box with herbs on it. Teach children, how to be kind to animals. Animals are not food, and the world is waking up very slowly. Maybe not so slowly, but the world is waking up. Everywhere you go, there's vegan options. Vegans generally are healthier, more likely to be their correct body weight. Like, we have a huge epidemic of obesity in children at the moment. Doctors and specialists, I've read surveys and investigations. They're also linking a lot of the ADHD and autism. They're saying a plant-based diet can often relieve a lot of the symptoms of these illnesses.
Okay, again, Catherine.
Thanks a million.
Okay. Thank you, Catherine. Now, again, I don't have any research, or I've never seen research, and I don't think it's fair to even suggest that there's a link between eating meat to autism. I genuinely don't. I've never seen research on that. So I'm sorry, Catherine. I don't buy that unless you can show me actual medical research. Here's the thing. My 3 kids are all meat eaters, and I ain't changing that. I will not be changing that. And I think that's why a lot of people get turned off vegans, because they're pushing it down your throat. They're constantly telling you how evil you are because you happen to eat meat and stuff like that. But she firmly believes that we should tell our kids, bring them to abattoirs. My children, my 3 kids would be absolutely distraught if they went to an abattoir. So would I be if I saw that happening. Years ago, I didn't know how fish were killed, and years ago, I just never thought about it. The fish on my table, I didn't realise how did they end up dying. And we were on holidays, and we went on a fishing trip where we were watching them, and let's just say I didn't eat fish again after that. So sometimes you're better off not knowing these things. But to make all those suggestions and try and link the whole illness of the world and all the illnesses that people are having to eating meat is absolutely ridiculous. I don't buy it. We have a couple of calls on hold already. Kathleen and Alan, how are you guys?
Hi, Jeremy, how are you?
How are you? Just stay there for a second, both of you, and I'll come to you in a couple of moments.
Ireland's Classic Hits Radio.
Good evening. It's Jeremy Dixon here with you live until 11 o'clock tonight. I hope you're enjoying the show. It's a lively one, isn't it? Now, just a bit of housekeeping. Before we go to the calls about children going to abattoirs and slaughterhouses, just a bit of housekeeping, because I've just gone through the messages. Apparently WhatsApp literally crashed that there were so many messages. That's why we didn't see them. This is completely unrelated to vegans, by the way. Although Pamela Anderson is actually a vegan. She is one of the world's top vegans, isn't she? The movie was either Barbed Wire or Barbed Wire. Yeah, that was the name of the movie. And that would make sense. The tattoo she had around her arm was of barbed wire. And that's why all the girls got it done. But the movie was called Barbed Wire. I have never heard of this movie. Didn't even know it existed. Am I going to watch it when I get home? No. But thank you. Who knew that there was a movie called Barbed Wire with Pamela Anderson? I didn't know. Anyway, let's go to the calls on slaughterhouses and the right of a child to know the truth. Let me go to Kathleen. How are you, Kathleen?
Hello?
How are you? Yes, well, if your name's Kathleen, it's you. How are you?
Yeah, you've got another Kathleen as well from Cavan.
No,
I'm
no,
in Dublin.
no, I don't care. It's all the same to me. Now, Kathleen,
Hi, Jeremy.
how are you? What do you want to say about this?
Yeah, what a load of codswallop. For God's sake, what the hell? They traumatised a child to bring their child to a slaughterhouse, Jeremy.
It would absolutely, it would terrorise them, wouldn't it? Traumatise
It
them.
would. Absolutely ridiculous. So, people are eating meat for generations, Jeremy. Okay, it must be horrible to see it. I wouldn't like to go to a slaughterhouse, Jeremy. But, come on. I mean, I eat meat, and
Do you ever feel guilty about it?
No.
No, either do I. Actually,
No, because my parents ate meat. My parents were farmers. They had to sell. You have to. Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I just don't feel guilty. But I tried. I just want to say this to you, Jeremy. I tried plant food, and it was disgusting. I threw it in the bin. Waste of money.
So you tried what?
I tried some plant food.
Oh, plant-based food. Yeah.
Plant-based food, burgers, and they were disgusting, Jeremy. I threw them in the bin.
There was no juice coming out of them right now. That sure there wasn't.
No, Jeremy. But I have to eat red meat because I think this should be very, say this to you, that red meat, because I have low blood pressure.
You need the iron. You need the iron,
I
don't you?
need the iron, the red meat, yeah. And the red meat is what I have to eat.
Now, I will say something to you, Kathleen. The one meat that I did give up about 5 years ago, and I had to give it up, was lamb. I won't eat lamb anymore because just when I never even thought about it, but when I heard that the baby lambs get taken away from their mothers, I just said, no, I can't eat lamb. I just can't eat lamb. So that's the only meat. That's the only meat I have an issue. But what do you make of what these vegans are saying when they say that children have a right to know the truth about where the chicken on their plate comes from?
Unless you want to teach them, like domestic science in school should be brought, or home economics should be brought back, to help children to understand. But I don't think bringing in where slaughterhouses would be beneficial to a child,
Well, it would teach them that, like, eating meat is actually cruel. When you think about it, it is cruel to kill an animal just to eat it. So, it's just telling them the truth.
Well, I mean, I think that would be up to the parents if they want the child to know. But I mean, I would think it might traumatise the children, and maybe in secondary school, but not in primary school. I don't think.
Yeah, I think
I might be traumatised in the age. I think secondary school they could tell them.
I think they're way too young, aren't they? In primary level.
Yes, very young. Yes, too young.
So did I do the right thing when my son Luke asked, where do sausages and rashers come from? And I just avoided the question.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it's difficult. I wouldn't know how to approach that. But I didn't. To be honest, I didn't know what to say. Yeah, because he's very young. You know what I mean? And he might try. And if he likes it, he obviously loves sausages and rashers and that.
Oh, he does.
It's part of Irish diet, isn't it?
No, but I would hate for him to go off rashers and sausages.
Yeah.
Like I really would.
Yeah, of course, I understand.
So I did the right thing then.
Right, big time, yeah.
Okay, thanks very much for your call, Kathleen. It's great to hear from you. Let me go to Alan. How are you, Alan? You're on Ireland's Classic Hits Radio.
Hi, Jeremy. How are you?
I'm good. Now, what do you want to say about this?
Firstly, and I know, right, that tattoo came from Pamela Anderson's leaked sex tape, right? So don't be playing shy now.
I know the what?
You know where that tattoo came from? Was it her leaked sex tape, right? So don't be saying you didn't do it.
Stop that. Is that for...
Don't be playing shy.
I've never even seen Pamela Anderson's sex tape.
Don't be playing shy. So why don't we bring kids to the local knock-in shop? Why don't we bring kids down to the Collins Street and say, this is what a junkie looks like? Because there's certain things they don't need to know.
To protect their innocence.
Yes, that's what you do. Right? They'll find out this when they grow up. Meat is there for a reason. People who are vegan, I'm telling you, it's worse than a cult at this stage, and they're becoming a pain in the ass, a bit like the climate shower.
Okay, I do agree with you that a lot of them try to force their opinions down our throats, but they only, I mean, they're looking out for the animals, aren't they?
Well, some animals, that's what they're there for. It's called a food chain. That's what happens. So animals are bred to be eaten as food.
Yeah, but in their opinion, that's not the case. That, just because they're lower down the food chain doesn't mean we should be actually eating them. But I just find the idea of, forcing a child basically not to eat meat, basically telling them to turn them off meat for the rest of their life at such a young age is wrong, isn't it?
For me, it's wrong because they need some of those nutrients that come from meat, so that's what they need. And any of those vegans end up having to pop vitamins the whole time to make up for what they're not getting. And let's be clear, some people have died from veganism. And I think there was a story last week where a woman had gone vegan on years ago and she was literally skin and bones. It's what she'd gone to, but she's had to top up with pills and everything.
I know, but there's lots of people.
There's ups and downs on both sides. Right?
Yeah, you look at Paul McCartney, who's been a vegan for years, and that man's as fit as a fiddle for a man of his age.
If I guarantee he's taking vitamins like a good thing to make up for everything else. And listen, Paul McCartney is a private chef, right? That's cooking him all this food. It's not like Mary and Tom down the street that pay for everything themselves. Like,
no, you can't compare Paul McCartney to Mary and Tom. Yeah, you're right.
You can't. And that, whether it's veganism or whether it's the time and crowd, it's all this thing about you must attack kids and force all this stuff into kids. Leave the kids specking alone with you and let their parents parent the kids. And you guys continue on eating your avocados flown in from California.
Okay, but if a child, like in my situation, if a child asks the question, as my son did, are the chickens on the farm the same as the chickens that I'm eating? You should lie to them then.
Well, you can just say it's not that exact chicken, but it's a chicken like that.
So lie to him.
Well, not lie, but bend the truth, lightly.
That's not bending the truth. That is a lie. Well, stay there for a second, please, Alan. Let me go to Sean. How are you, Sean?
How are you doing, John? How are you?
Good, John Ireland's Classic Hits Radio. Now, you believe that kids have a right to know?
They do. Of course they do. And educate them. I'm an ex-butcher. I was butchering in FX Buckley's there in town there for a good while. And, and I don't see why you should have to lie to the kids. My kids grew up eating meat, and they always will, and they love their meat, and they love their cuts of meat, Jeremy, because they know what a sirloin steak is, a fillet of steak is.
Lovely.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is, they know, I always told them, Jeremy, where the meat came from. And they did ask questions when they were growing up. Of course they did.
And what age were they, first of all, when they asked about meat?
8, 9 years of age.
Yeah, so the same as my young fella.
Yeah. Where's that come from? That's from pork. That's a pig. Where did I get that from? That's from a cow. Yeah, of course it is.
So when they were eating a burger, at the time they didn't know that a burger came from a cow, did they?
Absolutely not. I educated them. I told them where black pudding came from. It was made of blood. It was made of pigs this, pigs that. And they still eat it till this day. Jeremy, we love black pudding, and we love we love everything that we eat. I just don't see why parents hide it from their kids. They should tell them out straight. That's where that comes from. Okay, let's deal then with the idea of, and I can hear Alan on the other line going mad at you, John, the idea of bringing kids to a slaughterhouse, to an abattoir, to show them how the animals are killed. Look, that's never going to happen because slaughterhouses wouldn't allow it in the first place. But
well, of course they would. If there was a school trip being organised to a slaughterhouse, I'm sure they would organise it, would they not?
You never heard of one, did you?
No, I haven't. That doesn't mean it hasn't happened.
It won't happen, Jeremy. But the fact of the matter is, if it did happen, then do you know what the funny thing is, Jeremy? And I can say this to you safely, securely, that any animal that is killed humanely in the fastest possible way and shape and form. They do not go through pain. So I can say that to all the vegans out there. They don't feel pain when they're being executed. And if you bring us back, Jeremy, from hundreds of years ago, man killed what he killed out in the wild, and he bring it back and he cooked it over an open fire. Like, why not? It's what we do. It's what we're doing is only human. It's not. I see these vegans, and you know what? I want to say this, Jeremy, real quick. There's a reason why the vegans have a little corner of a little supermarket, a little corner in any supermarket, with all the little vegan stuff. Because there'll never be... Now, I heard what you said about Catherine. Catherine is living in La La Land. This is never going to take off. There is nobody cares about vegans. They never will. They don't care.
That's not true to say.
Well, I can tell you now. Just we outnumber them.
Okay, we do. There's 1.1% of the population is vegan. 1.1%.
That's even funny. That's even funny in itself. Jeremy.
Well, it's still that's around 80 million. I would say that's around 80 million people. That's a lot. That's a lot of vegans.
Sure, come here. Did you ever see a vegan? Mother of God, my sister is vegan. Jesus Christ, she needs a good bang of a steak. Honestly,
Jesus. Okay, let's not just bash the vegans. Let's get back to the conversation. Alan on the other line was saying there's no way children should know where their meat comes from. You're saying they deserve to be educated. Sean, Alan, what do you make of what Sean did?
I have no issue with Sean. You can educate kids, but what I'm saying is, if you have a child that's a fussy eater, and by telling them something like that, it's going to put them off eating food completely, well, you just don't tell them. You can tell them when they're slightly older. I have no issue with that.
Do you know what the problem is, Alan? I tell you what the problem is these days. And I'm guaranteeing you, a lot of people will agree with me. Kids are fussy eaters these days. By no means, it's because it's all fast food, Alan, and that's the problem here. Me, myself, my wife, we cook as much as we can at home. We cook at least 6 days a week, and we do enjoy a takeaway. I'd never lie to you about that. But the fact of the matter is, it's all gone fast food. And that's the problem, and that's why they're fussy eaters, because they'll only eat chicken fucking nuggets, only eat chicken nuggets, or they'll eat pizzas because it's out Domino's and what have you. That's what's wrong with the world. That's what's wrong with wherever, yeah.
But why did you feel the need to tell them that, that the chicken on their plate or the steak on their plate came from an animal? Why did you feel the need to do that?
Because they asked me. And I wasn't going to lie to them. And I would never lie to my kids. And kids aren't stupid, Jeremy. You know that yourself. We all know that. Kids are they're sponges at these ages. And they're going to find out anyway. And I don't want me to be a liar to my kids. I wouldn't ever lie to them. And I said, look, that's
well, hang on. Without skirting around the issue, there's another thing that many parents lie to their children about.
I get that. And of course, yeah, it's, I get that. Jeremy.
Yeah, so to say that you've never lied to your kids, that's bull.
Well, no, I don't mean it like that. I know what you're talking about, I do, and it's going to be coming up in a few months' time.
Yeah.
But,
so in other words, people lie to their children about many things.
I get that, but there's one thing that I couldn't lie about. It's because, food is food. They should know where the food is coming from, and I had no problem in saying that.
What did you say? Did you say, what exactly did you say to them? That chickens are killed?
That's a chicken, and that is killed, and that's killed for us. And that's what we eat. We eat chicken. That's where do you think chicken comes from? It doesn't fall out of the sky. I told them out straight, Jeremy. I told them the truth. Did you tell them? Did
you tell them about the slaughter process?
I told them everything. I told them that I cut that pig up and I cut that cow up, and people cut them chickens up, and that's how we get our food on the plates.
Okay, John, do me a favour and stay there for a second, please, if you would. 087 188 0008 is our WhatsApp number. 087 188 0008. By the way, what age? People want to know, what age was your youngest when you told them about slaughter?
8 years of age.
8 years of age.
That was my daughter, yeah. And my daughter was more inquisitive, would you believe, than my son. I don't know what it is about girls, but girls are girls. They want to know everything.
Yeah. That doesn't change. Stay there for a second, please, John. 8 years of age she was, and he told her all about the process of how an animal ends up on your plate. Now, it didn't stop the daughter eating the meat. She still eats it to this day, but was that the wrong thing to do? 087 188 0008, or if you want to just send a voice note, you can do that at that number as well, please.
Ireland's Classic Hits Radio.
It is Ireland's Classic Hits Radio with Jeremy Dixon in for this Monday night. Hope you're enjoying the show. I'm just looking at the studio here at Ireland's Classic Hits Radio and looking out, and it's now, just as a matter of interest, it's now pitch dark. And so I'm not normally up at this hour night because I work early mornings here with Colin and Lucy. So I'm normally in bed asleep at this time, and I didn't realise it was now getting dark. And they're telling me it was probably dark at about 10 o'clock tonight. My God, that means the long winter evenings are only around the corner. Oh, God, I hate them. I really, really hate them. Anyway, that's just by the by. Just happened to be looking out the window and saw that it was pitch dark. Welcome to fall or autumn. Let me go to Anne, who's been on hold there. How are you, Anne? You're on Ireland's Classic Hits Radio. How are things?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not bad at all. John on the other line, or Sean, sorry, is getting a huge backlash from our listeners over telling his 8-year-old about the slaughter process. What do you make of that?
To be quite honest, I quite disagree with that as well. I'm actually a primary school teacher, so I would be kind of the opinion, it is a parent's choice at the end of the day, but I wouldn't be bringing any child to a slaughterhouse. I do feel if I was to send a letter home to my parents and say, there's your school tour, it's for a slaughterhouse, I don't think I'd get a good reception.
I don't think you would. It's not like going to the Jacobs factory or the Coca-Cola factory. Sure, it's not.
No, or out to a chocolate shop or over to the cinema. Like, you're not going to get to say, like, you know, it's quite different. So although it's his own personal preference as a parent, I do think as an 8-year-old it's quite different. It was very young, John, in fairness. It was very young. Like, when you're...
The thing about what did you say? You're a teacher.
I am a teacher, yeah.
Well, as a teacher, you should know better, and you should teach the kids where the food comes from.
Oh, we do, but not at 8.
I'm very shocked at you, because it's funny how, teaching works. I actually have 2 teachers in my family, and, you teach the kids about, the whole gay thing and this, that, the other, but you won't teach them where the food comes from.
Well, that's more secondary school now. That wouldn't be in primary school.
No, it's young kids now. We all know that. But look, let's get into that. But the fact of the matter is, you, as a teacher, should teach the kids, and the whole curriculum process should teach the kids where the food comes from. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with whatsoever where the kids do deserve to know where the food comes from and how the food is processed and how the food is made. What's so wrong with that? Why are you hiding that from the kids? And why am I wrong?
No one's saying you're wrong. Like, it is right for a child to know where the food comes from, but at the right age.
Thank you.
Like,
well, it is the right age. My daughter is 8 years of age, and at the age of 8 years, and she's very advanced now for 8 years of age. But
the child, maybe you're in a farmer background, like you would think of children that are in a city background that have no concept of a farm animal or anything like that, and you have to kind of think of the situation of a different type of an aspect of your family. You have to see different sides. So if you're teaching, for myself, like if I'm a teacher and I'm teaching in a school that's in a town school, like those kids may not know anything about a farm. They might not know what a slaughterhouse is.
I'm not buying that for one.
Well, you have to think of what ethnicity is in the school these days.
I'm not buying that for 1 minute. Because
well, then you're obviously in a school that has completely Irish children.
Whether you're in a city in Dublin or whether you're in
I'm
a
not
farm.
in Dublin, so...
I never said you were. Will you just give us a minute? Whether you're in Kerry, Cork, I know you're a country accent, I can hear it. It doesn't matter.
I'm not from the country.
It doesn't matter where you are. The fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter where you are in this country or the country. Kids are kids. And the age is what the age is, and they ask a question, and they should know where the food comes from.
But they ask lots of questions. I mean, if your 8-year-old had have asked where babies come from, I don't think you would have given a fully descriptive...
You would not have given that.
No, you wouldn't have.
You would not have done that, like...
Oh, I would pass the book on that.
Yeah, well, there we go.
So you can't say you'll do one and not do the other. So, like at 8 years of old, you would not tell them where the birds and bees are.
This is about food and where the food comes from.
No. This is about you saying. You said a couple of minutes ago that you should always tell children the truth, and I brought up the other subject that I didn't mention, and you said, "Oh, well, yeah, there's that."
You see, here's the thing, Jeremy, and I'm going to say this to you. There's a time and place to educate children on where children come from. I'm not going to start bending my daughter's ears at 8 years of age where children come from.
But you were happy to do that about food.
Yes, why would you do that to you?
She doesn't know where their fucking food comes from. She does. She absolutely does. She's been
But you
eating
still want her to eat food at the end of the day. That's so wrong. Like, at 8 years of age, it's very, very wrong. Like, in school, they're educated on so much about food and what's healthy and what's not healthy and how to eat proper food. Hold on a second. And the whole curriculum is changing. And the whole curriculum is evolving now to make sure that children know exactly what they should be doing and eating to be healthy. And I know there was a woman on here.
I want to stop you there. You're telling me that the school is educating the children on what they should eat and what they shouldn't eat. That's the problem with me, you see. Now, as I'm not telling you, and I did say this to you, I'm an ex-butcher by trade. I can tell, no, you're not going to be telling my kids what to eat, and you're not going to be educating. For the starters, I'm going to stop you there straight away. I'll tell my kids what to eat. And I will.
Well, hang on a sec there. Just as you're talking about that, John, I'm sure your kids' school is the same as mine. They're not allowed to have treats. My kids are only allowed to have treats on a Friday. So you're not allowed. You wouldn't be able to put a Twix in your child's school lunchbox.
I'm not talking about that.
Well, you are. You said no school's going to tell my children what to eat.
She's telling me what my kids should eat and what shouldn't they eat.
No, she's not.
It's in the school policy.
Sorry, say that again, Anne.
It's in the school policy. Each school has a Healthy Eating Ireland programme in their policy.
What about eating meat? What's your policy on that?
So go and ask your school, but this is...
There we go. You see, that's my problem. You see, you're getting too much into adult conversation here. You see, no school should be telling my kids what to eat and what not to eat. And when I come, and I'm saying this, Jeremy...
oh, my God, yeah.
When I don't have a problem with snacks. I'm not talking about snacks, Jeremy. I'm talking about... and I did see this... And I've seen this.
Okay, sorry, John, you think schools are pushing the vegan agenda now? Is that what you're going to tell me? Would you stop?
They are, Jeremy. Ask that girl there. She's a teacher. Ask her. You shouldn't be eating meat this time, and you shouldn't be eating meats, and you should only eat meat this time, and twice a week. And ask that girl there, please.
Well, she's gone actually, but I've never heard of a school having a vegan agenda.
It's not a vegan agenda. They're telling the kids to only eat meat, and they shouldn't be eating meat so many times a week. I'm telling you now, Jeremy, this is what's happening. And you should have, I'm sorry that girl's gone, because I would have loved to ask her the same question, because they are educating their kids. This is what's happening. This is what's coming up. And they're telling us.
Well, no, the school are teaching children to be healthy in their choices of what they eat. We have an obesity epidemic among school children in Ireland. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
You don't get obesity from eating a steak, Jeremy. You get obesity from going to McDonald's and going to Burger Kings and this, that. You won't get obesity in my house when we're eating good coddle and good stews and good steaks.
Stay there for a second, please, John. Then we got a Graham who sent in this voice note. Hi, Graham.
Hi, this is Graham from Cork. Unfortunately, I can't come on at the moment.
It's okay.
But, to suggest that you bring children to slaughterhouses to put them off food is as ridiculous as bringing children to a prison that's in service to put them off of crime. I mean, come on, get real.
Well, Graham, to that end, now this was a long time ago. When I was in secondary school, we did a trip to Mountjoy Prison. And I'm sure we weren't the only school that did it. We definitely went to Mountjoy Prison when we were in secondary school. So that does happen. And here's Shane.
It was dark at 9:30 tonight, just so you know.
Oh, sorry, that was Shane telling me about the time. Yeah, I didn't realise that, Shane. Sorry about that. It gets dark at 9:30. God, that's depressing. Sharon, how are you?
I'm great, Jeremy. Thanks. How are you?
Did you ever go on a school tour to Mountjoy Prison when you were younger?
God, no.
Maybe maybe my school was the only school that got inside prison. Anyway, you believe this is ridiculous, do you?
I just think, age appropriate. You could traumatise kids.
Absolutely.
I mean, even the thoughts of a slaughterhouse for an adult, it's terrible. And to be honest with you, it has made me try and cut back on meat a bit. Not try and cut back, but it's put me off a little bit. And also, when you see what comes out of it, when you eat, like, compared to fish and chicken. So I am going off meat a bit. But yes, give children information, but age appropriate.
And you don't think 8 years of age, which John's daughter was, is age appropriate?
Oh, no, I think it's a bit young.
It is, isn't it? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
There was no need for her to know that. Now, what he's saying is, there's no obesity in your house, John. Is that right?
Definitely not. There never was. We were brought up on meats, and we were always brought up on meats, of different kinds of meats. There was no chippers in my house, Jeremy, and there was no takeaways. You see, that's the problem. You see, that's where people are getting obesity from. Domino's, the McDonald's, the Burger Kings, the KFCs. There's none of this in my house. You know, as I said, we get a treat once a week.
But everything in moderation. You don't get obese from eating McDonald's once a week. You don't, not from eating it once a week.
I'm not saying that, Jeremy. What I'm saying is, Jeremy, and you find, and if you do your research on this, you will find that a lot of people these days are feeding their kids shite. Absolute shite. Absolute shit. Fucking processed.
Ah, okay,
shite.
jeez, okay, yeah, they're feeding them crap. What do you make of that point, Sharon?
Well, I know my father, for one, doesn't eat meat because, you know, his heart. There can be a real build-up of fat and whatever with animals. You know, it can be a bit unhealthy, but I can see his point about the junk food. Yeah, you know, it's everywhere.
No, there's no argument about the junk food here. But John seems to think that schools are trying to push a vegan agenda and trying to make kids eat healthy. Now, they probably are. But what is wrong with a school telling kids to eat healthy, John?
Because I have a problem with it, Charlie.
Why?
Because my kids never were ill. They were never, you know, what Catherine said there on the opening there of your show, that there was health problems and there's always cancers and this, that, and other. I don't know what she's talking about. All my family are very healthy. We've been eating meat for, I don't know, God knows long, you know. My mother, you know, I don't understand what she said there, you know. And to even think, the cancers are coming from the fast food. I think that's what Catherine meant. You know?
She just doesn't want. She's saying whatever it takes because she doesn't want people eating meat. Let me just go back to and wrap up with Sharon on this one. Visits to slaughterhouses, then, yes or no?
No.
At any age? What about teenagers?
Teenagers, yes, teenagers if they're, you know, open to it. I mean, at that stage, you know, you've got to start choosing for yourself.
Yeah, I think you leave it until the age that they can decide themselves.
That they can decide themselves, yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks very much for your call, Sharon. And thank you, John, as well. I'd love to have spoken to you longer, but we're out of time. We might come back to the conversation about later on in the week about schools having healthy food policies. Do you think, by the way, that if you want to put a packet of Monster Munch crisps in your child's school bag tomorrow, do you think they should be able to bring them in?
No.
Sorry, you there, John?
Sorry, Jeremy.
Yeah, do you think that if a parent wants to give their children a packet of Monster Munch, should they be able to put it in the school bag?
I do, Jeremy. You know, and I think they should be able to give a fruit juice and a packet of Monster Munch now and again. I don't see anything wrong with that whatsoever. And the fact of the matter is, why I say that is because it's not going to kill them, Jeremy. It's not going to kill them.
No, it didn't kill us back in the day.
And we were eating jellies. We were eating everything.
I was Sure School. I don't know, Sharon. Did your school have a tuck shop?
It did.
Yeah.
I never often had the money for it, though. My parents are very strict that way.
Real people, real opinions.
Real Talk Radio, the multi-award winning Niall Boylan Show.
Ireland's classic